So the Premier League returns this weekend, and the main event of the opening round of fixtures takes place at Old Trafford on Sunday afternoon. Manchester United taking on Chelsea. What are we going to get from this game? Manchester United under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer finished last season poorly. They've turned to youth to try and get them out of their funk. Simon Barlow next to me is going to be arguing the case for the Red Devils, whilst Bobbie Jackson will be talking up Chelsea, who've got Frank Lampard in the dugout for the first time in a competitive environment. First round then is who's going to win the game. Well, Simon, Manchester United are 5-4 favourites to come out on top against Chelsea. Can they justify being the favourites in this fixture?
Yeah, I think so. I think history against Chelsea is pretty good. It's not been a happy hunting ground for Chelsea for many years now. 2013 was the last time they won at Old Trafford, and that was when Mata, of course, scored the winning goal. Plenty better managers than Frank Lampard have come to Old Trafford and failed to get 3 points, and I think it's going to be a real baptism of fire for him as a Premier League manager for the first time. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer doesn't have that much more experience, but what he does have is the full backing of everyone at United now, fully behind him. You know, I think that there's real positivity. The signings they've made as well, Maguire, Wan-Bissaka and James, who could all feature in this game. I think with a crowd behind them, they'll get the win.
And what about Chelsea then? 29-10 to cause what will be something of an upset in Lampard's first game in charge. Missing some key players now. Chelsea relying on youth. Can the youngsters get it done?
I think so. I mean, the interesting word Simon used there was history, wasn't it? United fans love talking about history because that's when they used to win their titles. They've not done it for a while. They haven't been able to mix it with the big boys. Chelsea, yes, have had some issues, but they've been up there finishing third in the Premier League last season. Hazard has left, but they've still got a good nucleus of the squad. And let's remember, Frank Lampard as well last season with Championship side Derby went to Old Trafford and gave him a scare, didn't he? So why can't he do that again now with the Chelsea side that have got much more about them?
I have to say, I do think it will be an even contest, but I'm going to give this one to Simon and Manchester United. So they go 1-0 up in the head-to-head. On to who will score the first goal then. Obviously, the emphasis will be on Manchester United, who have done pretty well actually opening the scoring in pre-season, Simon. Can they do something similar on Sunday?
Yeah, I think so. United's goal output last season wasn't good, and they conceded far too many as well, but they've addressed those problems. I think in pre-season we've seen United go unbeaten. They won the vast majority of the games, and they've played some very good attacking football as well. I think the link-up down the right-hand side between Aaron Wan-Bissaka and Daniel James, two new signings, has looked very exciting. And whereas obviously they have lost Romelu Lukaku up front and will have to replace his goals, I think the creation from midfield is going to be better this season, and James in particular is a player I'll be looking at. He's absolutely rapid as anything down that right-hand side. I think he'll create assists. I think he'll score goals himself. I would look at him as a 12-1 option to score in his debut for Manchester United and make it a very big day for him.
And what about Chelsea then? No Eden Hazard anymore. Of course, the top scorer leaving for Real Madrid. Who's going to step up for Chelsea and get the goals?
I think there's a few options. Olivier Giroud, for one, looks like he'll start up at the top in this game, and he scored a couple of goals in pre-season. Pretty good price at 7-1. Get the first goal, someone that knows the Premier League well and doesn't need to settle in. Looking at other players that might have to make an impact in this game, Mason Mount is a surprise name that maybe you're not too familiar with, but he was with Lampard last season, a midfielder. He's their second highest goal scorer in pre-season. He's had a fantastic start to the term, and he's actually 11-1 to be first goal scorer. And the other man as well to take note of is Christian Pulisic, brought in to replace Eden Hazard. He got a couple in pre-season. He's 10-1. To be the first goal scorer in this game. And let's remember, United struggled for clean sheets last season, just 5 in 21 Premier League games when Solskjaer took over. They have brought in Maguire to try and address that, but you look at the other players around him, and I still think there's real frailties at the back for them.
Yeah, I like Pulisic as well, and I do think that he might make the difference for Chelsea in games this season, so I'm going to give that round to Bobbie. Heading into the final round then, and that is the total number of goals in this fixture. Not normally a fixture that produces bucket loads of goals, Simon. How many are we going to get on Sunday?
Yeah, there's not been many thrashings dealt out down the years, but I think the option of between 2 and 3 goals looks very strong for me, given that 10 of the last 15 matches of either between these two sides at Old Trafford have had either 2 or 3 goals in it. There have been a few draws in those matches, a few 1-1 draws, but I think the likelihood for me is that United come out on top and win 2-1.
And what about you, Bobbie? Can you see something similar?
Yeah, I agree with Simon. 11-10 that market, so I think a lot of value in there as well. And I think between 2 and 3 goals seems fair. Early stage of the season, you do tend to get a few more goals when there's still a few mistakes in there. I fancy Chelsea to get the win, though. I'd go 2-1.
Yeah, I think Chelsea might actually sneak it, so I'm going to give the overall round to Bobbie then, who makes the more compelling argument on this edition of Head to Head. That's your lot for today's Head to Head. We'll be back with plenty more over the course of the season, so subscribe to our YouTube channel and don't forget to check out our social media feeds on Twitter and Facebook.